Not golfing today, unfortunately. So the first thing I like to do when I get to a lake and I'm fishing for trout, or lake, river, even the ocean, doesn't matter, is I'm looking for activity at the surface. I'm looking for rising fish, because at the end of the day, trout aren't rising. They are either feeding off the bottom, which can happen, or you're gonna have a tough day. So I'm always looking to see like where they rise. Those fish are rising and surfacing themselves. Those are what I like to call happy fish. We're in for a great day if we get to that spot. So right now, I've seen a few just off here, and I know there's a drop off right here, so it makes sense. And I've seen a few kind of surfacing themselves just out here, and honestly, works out well because there's a nice bench. So yeah, we're just gonna start fishing right here. We're actually gonna start off the bottom, but I am seeing quite a few rises just along the shore here. So if we get oh wow, there's like, honestly, I might have to switch the game plan. It seems like I have my rod set up for bottom fishing, but it just seems like there's a bunch of rises just like in that really shallow water over there. So I might honestly throw on a lure, even though I tied this all up. We might gotta never be afraid to switch the game plan, guys. Never be afraid to switch the game plan, because at the end of the day, you can come here thinking the fish are gonna act one way and they could surprise you, and you gotta be able to adapt. Okay, so I got my lure tied on here. We're gonna go with a little chartreuse. This is kind of where I've been seeing them rising. They've stopped, but a thing about these stock trout is they'll school up, and kind of just circle back and forth along an area that they like. So that's kind of what I'm expecting right now. So we're just gonna make a few casts here, you know, be patient, and because I saw it was like multiple at a time. So it looks like they're schooling and just like traveling in circles, which I see all the time out of these like stocked urban lakes with smaller fish. Well, that didn't really work out as I hoped. Kind of just seems like those fish came through once and took off. You know, that's fine. We took a shot. You can't hate it. So we're gonna go back to the original plan here. Just this drop off using power bait on the bottom. And what power bait does is they use a formula that's very, very similar to what they feed them back at the hatcheries. They recognize that and they love it. Perfect color for today, this dark day. That bright bait. Could have been a better cast, honestly, but honestly, I'm not even that mad, because it's kind of how I like to start when I'm fishing off the bottom. I kind of like to start shallow. Okay, nothing shallow, let's go a little farther. Nothing out farther, let's keep going, and you know, keep making your way out until you kind of find the depth range that they're hanging out at. Make one more cast in this spot. Usually when I'm fishing like this, I like to give it maybe 20, maybe 25 minutes if I really like the spot. But if I don't get a bite within that time, that's usually when I'll move spots. So if nothing shows up here in the next 5-10 minutes, we're probably gonna move over to that dock right over there, because usually that place is packed. But today, not a great day. That means there's not many people on the lake, so there's a lot more spots open. Yeah, time to move. Yeah, rain's definitely coming down pretty good. Did not wear a rain jacket because the weather told me it was going to be nice and sunny last night. However, that doesn't stop us. We keep going. We are going to find these fish today. Ooh, nice little rod holder right here. Can't complain. Oh, that's the first rise I've seen. That's a really good sign. Oh, another one just jumped right over there. Now they're starting to show themselves. Just had to weather the storm of the rain. Now that the day's, you know, starting to progress, the rain's stopping, I'm seeing some fish. Rose again, they're here now. Honestly, I think we have a better vantage point actually off of this dock and just right over here. Just a light little cast here, not gonna go too far. I'm gonna give this 5-10 minutes, and since I know the fish are here now, this doesn't work, going right back to casting and retrieving a lure. Okay, it's only been a couple minutes, but with the amount of rises I've seen in here, one right there, I've got nothing. I don't want to waste an opportunity and have these fish all leave by the time I put on a lure. We're just going to switch this over right now, because when the fish are rising like that, pretty aggressive, and they'll usually go right for a lure. So I'm going to switch this over real quick here and cast right to these rises, which honestly is a lot more fun. Okay, if I don't get one here, I'm switching lures. Okay, put it right where he is. He's got to take that. He's got to take that, right? No? What? No way. Hey, maybe they don't want the green, who knows? I'm switching over because I've casted to a few fish now and nothing, which is crazy. These trout are stocked in urban lakes and meant to be easy, so you know that everyone can catch them. And the fact that I'm struggling this much probably means that I should delete my YouTube channel, because I don't know, I cannot believe I'm having this much trouble catching a 12-inch trout. You know, you can just watch my older videos. Catching double-digit number of coho on the fly, no problem. But catching a 12-inch trout in a stock lake in the middle of the city, can't figure it out, you know? Just the way she goes sometimes, but you know what? Makes it way more fun. I love it, making me work. Oh, there we go, there we go. Oh, it came off. Just had to change the color of the lure. That's it, but that took some effort. That took some effort, but you know what? Feels so much better than if it was easy. Oh, there we go. Damn it! I lost another one. Okay, so now that I've actually been able to hook one, apparently I can't keep it on the line. You know, damn. Interior rainbows, coho, chinook, yeah, no problem. Stock trout, nah, hook too tough. Honestly, there's been so many rises, and kind of I'm gonna wait and pick one to cast at. That'll be fun. That's like cutthroat fishing. I love that. There's one. Cool. That's great. It's just how that happens all the time. Love that. Sick. Well, as you guys have seen, I've lost a couple now, but I feel like I'm not hooking up as much as I should. So we're gonna try a different angle of attack here. And this is what I meant when I said first thing in the morning when I got here, like I'm looking for moving fish. Like whole day, when I wasn't catching anything, no, there wasn't any moving fish. As soon as the rises started to come, had to change over a couple times, but then started hooking up. And honestly, it's kind of been a while since I last hooked up. So if I don't hook up again soon, I might go back to the power bait, because I honestly gave it like, what, 2 minutes? Because honestly, I thought these fish would be a lot easier to catch than they are. You never know, maybe that could be working fine, because I hooked up right away on this. When I changed over this lure, I hooked up right away twice. But then, since then, I haven't got a bite. Oh, and as I say that, I just got hit. Just as I say that, so maybe we'll stick with this. It is fun. Okay, well, I haven't seen a fish rise from a bit here. Main reason is because these birds, which love eating little trout, have just been circling in and through here. So honestly, might go back to the old spot before calling it a day here. Well, back to the first spot of the day, and probably gonna be the last spot of the day. Kind of the plan of action here. I'm gonna throw the different colored power bait, and if nothing happens off the bottom, go to that lure that I got a couple on earlier, and then probably call it a day. Well, I think it's time to pull the plug on the bottom fishing here, because I kind of feel bad. I feel like a bad influence, because this method of fishing is honestly the easiest way to catch stock trout in urban lakes. And all it really is, I'll show you guys right here. You got your sliding weight, a bead, a swivel, and you know, maybe 3 feet a leader, and then you have your hook. And that's honestly the whole setup. As bait, which other than today usually is very successful with, especially with freshly stocked fish, because it imitates the food they give them in the hatcheries. Power bait. And a good tip is, if you're fishing a really weedy bottom, you're gonna want to use a longer leader, because that power bait floats, right? So if the weight sits on the bottom, for example, if my hand is the bottom here, the power bait actually floats. So if I had you know, a really small amount of leader, it would only float up this high. If I had a longer amount of leader, it would float up this high, right? So you kind of get what I mean, in the sense that the length of your leader determines how high off the bottom you want to be fishing. But yeah, power bait off the bottom would probably be my #1 method for small trout in urban lakes like this. But my #2 method would definitely be what I'm tying on right now. Just a little 1/4 ounce lure will always work really well for trout. Usually when they've been in here for a week or two, the lures really start being productive, I find. It goes kind of like, it goes power bait at first, you know, and then after they've been in here for a while and kind of get off the power bait, kind of become more acclimatized to the environment, then you can start getting them on lures. My third favorite method of fishing for these guys, though, would definitely be float fishing. It's fun when they're on it. It's definitely fun seeing that float drop, but there's a lot of variability in it with the, you know, the bait, how it sits under the float, how deep your float is. There's a lot of stuff to it, and usually if float fishing's working, the lure off the bottom is really effective as well. So I never find myself doing it that often, but it can be really fun. There's not too many things better than watching that float drop. Well, that's gonna be it for me today. Didn't actually land a single fish. Hooked a couple, but Wow, those fish are a lot tougher than I thought they were gonna be. Well, thanks for watching the video. I promise, usually those fish are a lot easier to catch than I displayed today. Urban stock lakes like these are a great place to bring, you know, people of all skill levels, whether it's just kids getting into fishing or adults just getting into fishing, or, you know, you've been fishing for a long time like me. It can be really fun, because honestly today, like, those fish gave me more of a challenge than a lot of salmon did last fall, and honestly I love it. I actually had a lot of fun trying to figure those finicky trout out, but you know how she goes. This is like actually my first fishing video of the year, and I'm gonna go all out this year. I'm gonna be posting a lot. Hopefully we'll see where we can take this, because I really enjoy doing this. I'm gonna do a lot of stuff this year, I promise. Last year I lost, it was a kind of a test run. I also did lose a lot of footage. Still pisses me off to this day. However, that makes me even more motivated to get that back, to keep filming and keep doing stuff. So stay tuned, a lot of new videos coming out, like this month, next, whenever. Season started now. See you guys in the next one.